Things they never told you about dogs. You live with them, feed them, play with them, and think you know everything about your dog. But what if I told you there are things they never told you? Things that explain strange behaviors, hidden emotions. And that can completely change how you see your dog. 1. Your dog knows when you're lying. Have you ever tried to hide an emotion from your dog? Like when you come home tired, stressed, but force a smile and say, "Hi, my love. Everything's fine." And he doesn't respond with excitement. He just stares at you. Stays quiet. Walks slowly. That's right. Your dog knows when you're lying. But calm down. We're not talking about words. Dogs don't understand language like we do. They understand you. Your scent changes when you're anxious. Your tone of voice changes when you're sad. Your body changes when you're trying to look good. But you're not. And that's exactly what they perceive. Studies show that dogs can identify emotional incongruity. That is, when you show one thing with your body but feel another inside. They sniff out your stress. They observe your facial micro-expressions. And, above all, they feel your energy. It's not magic. It's biology. Dogs have brains finely tuned to live in groups. They depend on reading emotions to survive. That's how they know when the leader is calm or on alert. And guess who's the pack leader for them? You. So, when you lie to yourself, they know. When you smile outwardly, but cry inside, they feel it. And that's why sometimes, they change their behavior out of the blue. Stop playing. Observe you from afar. Approach slowly. Lie down next to you in silence. They don't understand your problems, but they understand your pain. This is one of the things they never told you about dogs. They see you even when you hide. And still they're there. By your side. Because their truth never changes. 2. They try to heal you when you're sick. Have you noticed that on days when you're sick, your dog gets closer? Maybe they lie at your feet, stare intently at you, or simply refuse to leave your side no matter what. It's not a coincidence. They know. Dogs have a sense of smell capable of detecting chemical changes in your body. They can perceive when there's a fever, inflammation, hormonal changes, or a drop in immunity, all just by smell. Now imagine what they feel when you're in pain, or when you're going through deep sadness. Your dog doesn't need tests to realize something is wrong. They feel you changing. Not just by smell, but by your rhythm, your breathing, the way you walk, sit, and look. And their instinct is one thing: to stay close. Not because they understand the illness, but because they understand love. There are records of dogs refusing to leave their owner's side during home confinement. Others who started acting strangely days before the human discovered cancer. Some who lay on the affected part of the body, as if protecting it. This goes beyond loyalty. It's biology. It's intuition. It's love transformed into silent vigilance. Assistance dogs are trained to alert about drops in blood sugar, seizures, or emotional crises. But your dog, without any training, tries to do this instinctively. If they sense you're unwell, they don't abandon you. They cancel their day, the walk, the play, the hunger, just to stay there. Close. By your side. Breathing with you. As if saying, "I can't heal your body, but I can protect your soul." And this is one of the things they never told you about dogs. They don't understand what you have, but they do everything to keep you whole. Enjoying our content? Leave a like. It will help us bring more topics like this to our channel. 3. Dogs can also get depressed, and you almost never notice. When we talk about depression, we think of people. But what if I told you your dog might also be suffering in silence? That sudden laziness, that distant look, that discouragement, might not be mischief or age, but real sadness. Yes, dogs can also get depressed. And the worst part, they don't know how to ask for help. They don't cry like we do. They don't say, "I'm feeling bad today." They just change. And if you're not paying attention, it can take a long time to realize something is wrong. Signs that almost nobody notices. He stops running to the door when you arrive. He eats less, or too much. He isolates himself in a corner of the house where he never used to sleep. He loses interest in his favorite toys. He just stares blankly into space. And the causes? They're more human than you imagine. Moving house. Constant lack of attention. Loneliness throughout the day. Losing a companion, human or animal. A baby arriving and stealing all the attention. A guardian who became cold, distant, or depressed too. Because yes, dogs absorb our emotional state. If you're broken, they can break too. And you know what hurts the most? They'll keep wagging their tails anyway. Even tired. Even sad. Even without understanding what's happening. Because their love doesn't change. But the sparkle in their eyes can disappear. Oh, but it's just a dog. No. It's a being that feels. That suffers. That hopes you'll look at them and understand something is wrong. And you know what the problem is? Often, we're so busy with our own pain that we forget to see their pain. This is one of the things they never told you about dogs. They also get depressed. But unlike us, they still put our well-being above their own. 4. They have almost human emotional memory. Do you think your dog forgot that scolding from weeks ago? Or that he doesn't remember that place where he was left alone and scared? You're wrong. Dogs have a much more powerful memory than we usually imagine. Especially when we talk about emotional memory. They may even forget what you said. But they never forget how you made them feel. They don't store words. They store feelings. If you yelled at him uncontrollably. If you ignored his cries when he was scared. If you left home and left him for days without understanding what happened. He may not know why. But he will remember the emptiness. The tone of voice. The feeling of abandonment. And every time he approaches cautiously, head down, testing if you're okay. It's not drama. It's memory. Science has already proven it. Dogs store memories linked to emotional context. Just like humans. They associate faces with feelings, smells with experiences, places with emotions. Therefore, that rug where he was punished may never be comfortable again. That path where he got lost might trigger panic just by getting close. And that tone of voice, that outburst of anger, can echo in his head for much longer than you imagine. But this memory works both ways. If you play with him at the same time every day, pet him gently, speak respectfully, even during corrections, protect him when he's scared. He records this too. Records it as safety, as love, as, my human understands me. So when he jumps on you with joy, even after a whole day away, it's not just longing. It's the emotional memory that with you, he's safe. It's the certainty that his heart still has a whole space inside yours. This is one of the things they never told you about dogs. They remember everything their heart feels. And therefore, you're not just the owner. You are the living memory of everything he understands as love, fear, joy, or pain. So, next time you talk to him, remember, he will keep that moment forever. Share this content with your friends and family who are also actively involved in the emotional lives of their dogs. 5. Your dog has secret routines, even without you knowing. When you leave the house, what do you think your dog does? Do you imagine they just sleep all day on the couch? Or that they sit by the door like a statue, waiting for you to come back? Maybe. But the truth is even more impressive. Your dog has secret routines. They live a parallel world. A universe where you're not there. And to emotionally survive your absence, they create their own rituals. They walk around the house, sniffing the places where you've been. They go to your room and lie down where they smell your scent the strongest. They check all the windows, not once, but several times a day. They move their toys around, as if reorganizing the territory. And all of this has one silent purpose: to feel that you're still there. Dogs are creatures of routine, but they're also beings of attachment. When the routine breaks, like the moment you close the door, they enter active waiting mode. It's as if their inner clock says, "I need to distract myself until you return. I need to keep this place in order until you get here." Some dogs even patrol the house at fixed times. Others create exact paths. From the hallway to the living room, from the living room to the kitchen, from the kitchen to the door, and back. It's an unconscious way to keep the bond alive. And there's more. Some dogs have a comfort object. Something they only touch when you're not there. A cloth. One of your socks. An old teddy bear. They lie on it as if it were you. Not out of any ordinary longing, but because it's what's left of you there. And if you spend too much time away, or return irritated, rushed, without looking them in the eyes, they feel that the wait was in vain. And gradually, they start to give up on the routine. They start sleeping more than they should, playing less, eating without enthusiasm. Not because they're sick, but because you've stopped being predictable. And that's frightening. This is one of the things they never told you about dogs. They build small internal worlds to endure your absence. Worlds made of smell, silence, vigilance, and hope. And when you return, all they hope for is that this world makes sense again. 6. Your dog's DNA carries the fears and love of generations. You look at your dog and see a loving companion. But within them, there's much more than fur and bones. Within them, there's a story. An invisible legacy. Because your dog isn't just made of what you've taught them. They're also made of everything their ancestors experienced. Memories that aren't from experience, but from blood. Some dogs are afraid of thunder, even if they've never been through a traumatic storm. Others distrust people wearing hats, or dislike stairs, or hide from certain noises. You find it strange. You think it's fussiness. But what if I told you that these reactions might come from long before they were born? Science calls this behavioral epigenetics. It's when experiences from previous generations mark the DNA, shaping behaviors that will be inherited. Street dogs who went hungry for generations may produce puppies with a tendency to hoard food. Dogs who were mistreated might have puppies who are more reactive, defensive, or anxious, even if they grow up in safe homes. In short, your dog might be trying to protect themselves from pain they've never experienced, but that others like them have. And this also applies to love. If, for generations, dogs in their lineage were well treated, loved, and cared for, they tend to be more open, more confident, more ready to give themselves. Therefore, each dog is unique, not just because of individual temperament, but because of inherited emotional baggage. When you scold your dog for a fear they don't understand, you're not fighting them. You're fighting an ancestral pain they don't know how to explain. So when they bark for no apparent reason, tremble because of a specific sound, or run away from situations you consider normal, remember, they are reacting with the baggage of those who were born with a history in their bones. This is one of the things they never told you about dogs. They aren't just who you raised, they're also who came before them. And understanding this is respecting the mystery of the canine soul. A soul shaped by pain, love, survival, and now finally by you. You thought a dog was just affection and food? Now you know, behind the wagging tail, there's a whole heart watching you, caring for you, and silently loving you. These are the things they never told you about dogs. But now that you know, you won't be able to forget them anymore. Is your dog emotional? Do they show you many feelings? Comment below and leave your comment to help others talk about the emotions of our four-legged friends.